Chris Rafferty Cousins?
Yeah. Where are you seeing that? Oh, there we go.
No. Where's this damn email?
I'm trying to remember what his email. It was. What that was in relevance to? Like, what was he?
I think we found information on him through his email. Look up the root tree curse. Okay.
Alright, during your initial search, you came across Thomas Overwood's conspiracy page about the root trees. 8 months later, the page still exists and is thriving. The visitor counter has reached 7 digits. Many older articles have been replaced. It seems that the recent uprising in root tree news has left Thomas Overwood with a constant stream of events to base new theories on. More than one of his theories involve root tree deaths being faked. According to Overwood, statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who have died in a family, the odds are that one of them faked their death. It's just math. No, it's not.
How is that math?
It's not math. That's terrible math.
I need you to explain your reasoning and show your work,
Hey,
buddy.
Thomas Overwood. Hey, Thomas, hold on. I'm going to look up. Let me see if it comes up. Are you a mathematician? No.
No.
Doesn't
You're
say.
just a guy who runs a conspiracy theory website.
This newfound focus on death faking seems to coincide with a post mentioning that he's begun to believing the guy's not dead theory. There. In his own words, my eyes have been opened. All of this is beginning to make too much sense. No, it's not. One of his posts details the belief that Ron Rootree is still in charge, Gwyn Rootree's death was fate, and that Clark is only there to throw people off. Apparently, this allowed Ron to travel to France to develop their new candy recipe in secret. Another is about the rapper 5Ps. He can't possibly be a Rootree. One of his first album songs, when he was performing under the devil name, actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Raina. Well, he didn't know then.
Yeah.
Not even Sam Madsen is spared. According to Overwood, the author of 6 Pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram for Am Madness. Oh my god.
Amazing. They're purposely leaving hints for us.
They're purposefully leaving hints for us, he claims, that by using 6 Pieces with Lauren Roottree's book as a one-time pad, he has begun to decrypt a cipher. Most of the cipher has seemed meaningless, but he managed to pick out the words people and vastness, and is working on figuring out what it means. There is also a request at the bottom. Next year, 2000, is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for funds and volunteers to catch the Roottrees red-handed in Operation RT-29.
What is that?
He specifically mentions not to volunteer if you've ever drunk Spirit Cola, but doesn't go into why. Oh, this is an old thing. We looked this up once.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do the guy's not dead theory. Oh!
Ooh, Piketty 1, 2...
Oh!
How many? Ooh, there's 3 things?
Oh, 4 things!
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Spirit Cola brainwashed you.
Uh-huh. The Guy's Not Dead conspiracy stems from a website that focuses on clues that the Roottrees have supposedly hid all over the place. This includes on candy wrappers, in print advertisements, in television commercials, in their jingles, etc. The story, according to the website, is that Guy Hudson was a terrible president of the Rootree Company. He was.
Yeah.
And introduced multiple failed products.
He did.
Something needed to be done that would put the company immediately and instantly back in the favor of consumers. So they killed off Guy Hudson and replaced him with a new president.
They killed him off. Amazing.
This move immediately garnered sympathy, and the company recovered the next year more popular than ever. The next president stayed much further out of the limelight, and some people even theorized that he was simply Guy Hudson in an elaborate disguise, which is why he stopped appearing in public. The people who run the site are asking for help. They're certain that there's a clue to all of this that accidentally leaked in a banned article from the magazine Piketty. On their page is a scan of the magazine's cover, the interview with Cicely Sanchez about Guy Hudson, and some photos. You add them to your evidence.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
fucking God.
Finally.
All right. This is an interview with Cicely Sanchez, an author. She was hired to write a book about Guy Hudson. You claim to have been paid a significant amount to write a book about one of the Roottrees, Guy Hudson. He was president for a short period at the end of the 1970s, right? Yeah, I met him on New Year's Eve, actually, the last night of 1978. Guy liked to throw big parties. I was just coming off of Changed Man and looking for my next project. When his wife learned who I was, she invited me to the party and they cornered me to talk about a book. That was the first time anyone recognized me for my work. I had finally made it. The book they asked me to write sounded great, but then none of the stuff that made him interesting was allowed to stay. Chop, chop, snip, snip. Anything with even the slightest threat to Guy's image ended up a no-go. Ended up gonzo. What was the stuff that made him interesting? At his core, Guy was not complicated. He was more dick than man. In fact, I think I could boil him down to 2 traits. Penis.
And testicles. Wait, that's 3.
That's 3. First, he wanted to be seen as the second coming of the great Elias Roottree. And second, he'd never be satisfied living the life needed to be seen that way. He had his fortune and good looks, and he really liked to exploit that to pick up women. But he couldn't let anyone else know, so it cost him a lot to cover it up. That was the only interesting aspect of Guy. He was James Bond trying to convince people he was Mr. Rogers, I guess.
Yikes.
Mr. Rogers, really? Maybe that's not the best metaphor, but Elias Roottree was boring as all hell and all about family. Guy did everything he could to be seen that way. After I submitted my first draft, he sent me this garbage book, The Roottree Legacy, with Elias on the cover. Oh, we should look that up. The last time he and I met, he had even switched out his orange suits for the same green ones Elias wore. And remember fancy flavors? Guy knew that part of Elias's legacy was the 5-piece flavors. So that's what Guy tried to do too. Caviar was a disaster here, but it was actually somewhat popular in Brazil for whatever reason. In Christmas 1979, he went to Brazil to open the Roottree Brazil factory. Guy was always hopping around the world trying to recreate that success. So how come the book never came out? It's complicated. I had an out in my contract. Surprisingly, Guy signed the contract my lawyers wrote without running it by anybody in his legal department. I could pull my name off the book at any time, but Guy still got the content. After I left, it probably got a lot harder to convince any real publisher to give it their time. Oh, maybe we will get a book. The name of the book.
Maybe.
He was the president, right? Do you know why he never released it himself? If I had to guess, his family very wisely put a stop to it. Mid-1981, months after I had already moved on, he called me back and showed me a final draft. Do you know how expensive it is to publish one copy of a book? It had my name on it in big shiny embossed letters. Like all problems in his life, throwing money at me was his attempt to win me back. But it had half the page count and the narrative was torn to bits. No thanks. The dinner was good, imported steak that likely cost as much as a month of my mortgage, and we all got pretty drunk. He sent his mistress, Susie something.
A mistress!
Susie something into the bathroom to proposition me. Poor girl. I remembered her from our trips overseas. That's the translator.
Yeah.
She
Susan.
was too good for him. Anyways, he died soon after, and that was the last that ever came up. What can you tell us about the family? Any insight into the scandals from the recent book by Sam Madsen? I actually haven't read it. I just skimmed the sections on Guy to see why people were suddenly calling me up to ask about the man. I'd say she did well for what she had to work with. She only had rumors, whereas I spent time tailing him. Sometimes he knew, sometimes he didn't. He invited me to join them when dealing with Roottree Brazil, but I actually had people on him when he went to Australia, France, and China too. When he met with someone, I'd figure out who they were and how they were involved. Doubly so if the meeting happened when he didn't want me to be around. Despite his best efforts, I got the whole truth, including things even his family never knew. For example, the daughter of his business partner in Australia, I think her name was Robin, he and she definitely spent a few nights together. That he didn't want his family to know about, but I did. Oh, the daughter of his business partner, oh damn.
Wow.
Madsen got things wrong? Sam mentions Guy's affairs and treats them like most people would logically think to treat them, like the infidelity was a problem for Patricia. When his wife first approached me, though, it wasn't to talk, if you get my meaning. On paper and in public, it was a marriage like any other, but in reality, it was more of a mutually beneficial arrangement. They both got what they wanted. They both got what they wanted out of it. The same thing. So it was an open relationship.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm assuming I only have to spell it out so you can get it in writing for your readers. Women. Patricia enjoyed the company of women, and the swinger scene made that more accessible. I told her I wasn't interested in her and Guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were both in. Okay. Huh. That's probably why they never had kids too.
Yeah.
I found out later that if I had said yes, her next question would have been whether or not her husband actually had to be there too. Guy, on the other hand, was seen in a traditional marriage and at the same time could bed any woman that found him charming. I can assure you that was exactly the type of marriage he was interested in. Okay, he's still not great.
No, he's not.
At first it's like, okay, well, I mean, if they're both consenting in a an open relationship, like whatever, but nope, he's still garbage.
I mean, he would have done that whether or not his wife approved. Like, he just got lucky, or I should say, I guess Patricia got lucky because, marrying a man who was interested in just fucking everything that moved that was also a woman made it easier for her to also fuck every woman that moved.
Right.
Look at those photos.
Okay. Boo. There we go. So your sideburns need to calm the fuck down.
Just like his dick, they will not.
This photo is the first from a magazine interview with Cicely Sanchez and Piketty. The issue of Piketty magazine that it came from was pulled from the shelves, but you managed to find it online. Piketty does not label its individual photos. Both photos were instead under the shared label. Cicely was provided these photos by the Roottrees Company for use in her book. In the background of the photo, there is a Christmas tree.
Yeah, no shit.
Thanks, game.
Well, we know who those two are. Who's the woman?
Well, this photo is the first from magazine interview magazine interview with Cicely Sanchez and Piketty. The issue of Piketty magazine that it came from was pulled from the shelves, but you managed to find it online. Piketty does not. Okay, Cicely was right. Okay. Well, we have his.
Well, he has it. We have a new photo for him now.
A new photo for him. We have a new photo for
Guy. We have two for him.
Oh yeah.
Boom boom.
Boom boom. We have there's definitely some stuff that I want to look up here from.
Can we real quick before we go too crazy? Can we look at the Christmas photo and the one immediately following? I want to see if she's a brunette and the woman in the background
She's
also
blonde.
looks like a brunette and she's blonde. Okay.
Yeah.
And who's the guy?
I don't know.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, who is the guy?
Maybe his business partner and his daughter?
That's what I'm... Alright, well, they said that they met at Christmas. One of the things was that they met at Christmas. Let me...
Okay. Back to the interview.
Let me go back to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. In Christmas... So, Roottrees, Brazil. That's what I want to look up. Roottrees, Brazil, sometimes erroneously referred to as Roottrees, Brazil, is one of the companies creates, manufacture, and distribute Roottrees candy. It's developed as part of the Roottrees Everywhere initiative. Ooh, here we go.
Ooh.
We're going to highlight that for later. Unlike some of the other Roottrees Everywhere results, Roottrees Brazil seems to be a success.
Is this anything like Majima Everywhere?
No, that's more fun. You do
more
some
fun and more charming, yes.
rough translating and find a significant amount of information about it. Brazil was the only region in which caviar-flavored 5 pieces released at the end of 1978 were a hit. The primary reason that the factory still exists to this day is solely to create that flavor, which comes in its own standalone 5 pieces bag with Portuguese writing. A small town named Alvalagos, near the municipality of Sao Bernardo do Campo, became the location chosen by the Roottrees Candy Company after a newly elected local politician named Edson Soares heard that they were planning a new factory and petitioned them in early 1979. We're going to probably look up that name in a second.
Yeah.
The factory was controversial as locals did not want it there. The Roottrees visited Brazil around Christmas and managed to break ground on the project. Since then, however, it has been operating relatively smoothly except for 2 incidents. The first was Incendio do Bordo in 1982, and the second was an unsuccessful strike in 1995 that involved all of the factory workers being replaced.
Oof.
The factory was originally built and run, according to paperwork at the time, by a small company called Nova Corporação de Doces Brasil, which literally translates to New Brazil Candy Corporation. This company no longer exists. Not much information has ever existed about it, and the Roottrees now run Roottrees Brazil entirely. That sounds like a shell corporation.
Yeah, seriously. Pretty sus. Okay, Edson Soares.
Yeah. I don't want that extra space.
A chocolate shell.
Damn it.
An M&M.
Edson Soares was a Brazilian politician. You find a dissertation published by a college student as part of their PhD in history. It focuses on the rise of democracy in Brazil. It seems up until 1988, Brazil was run by the military, and the politics during that time were often a hotbed for corruption and nepotism. The paper tells of a few politicians at the time, including Edson Soares. Edson is a former mayor of Alvalagos, Brazil. Before politics, he was a manager at an automotive manufacturing plant for a major American car company. He was put in charge of Alvalagos by the military government in 1973. As mayor, he used his manufacturing background and knowledge of American business to establish new factories, distribution plants, and other business ventures in the area. This had 2 side effects. First, he became quite rich. Second, many locals were forcibly relocated.
Ugh.
Ugh. This did not make him a popular mayor. No shit.
Yeah, what a shock.
And what the paper speculates was a move to counteract this unpopularity. His wife, Sonia, was discreetly put in charge of a television station called Telerede. He often used this connection to ensure supporters would appear on local television spouting his beliefs and emphasizing his political victories.
Yuck.
He remained in office until 1988 when he was defeated in the first election after the military government was no longer in control. After the election loss, he quickly left the town behind. It is not known where he has gone, but the dissertation even speculates he likely fled to stay alive. Sonia. Let's look up this. Telerede is a former television station in Brazil. It came into being in 1970 after a vacuum was created due to the removal of a different network at the hands of the Brazilian military dictatorship. Due to a lack of resources online, you don't have much to go on about who ran it and when.
But Sonia Suarez, I'm assuming that's her last name because she was married to him.
Yeah, let's... However, Spire Search does return a page that lists a new anchor in Brazil named Flavios. Oh!
Who has a mother named...
Oh, yeah! Flavio Soares is a...
Flavio.
Flavio! Oh, we were laughing about that like someone was named Flavio. Flavio Soares is a young Brazilian newscaster with a bit of a cult following. The discourse surrounding him is, to put it in polite terms, lewd. There's a website about something called fan fiction that... Oh no! Oh no! It's 1999! Don't go down this rabbit hole!
He must be very handsome.
That has a small section dedicated to him. It seems that women, and some men, of a wide variety of ages and writing skill tend to find him worthy of inclusion in their stories. You skim some of the tales there and learn that a common thread is that he's currently dating a supermodel named Ashley York. Many stories either seem to ignore her existence or get her out of the picture rather quickly. Self-insert fanfiction.
Yep.
There are also more traditional fan sites that list some things about him, including his age, 18, his zodiac sign, Libra, his favorite food, grilled steak, and his mother's name, Sonia. Also, it seems that Flavio translates to golden-haired. One website with a signed publicity photo of Flavio seems to confirm this. The photo has been... Okay, well, we're going to look her up real quick.
And then we're going to look at this photo of Flavio.
Ashley York is a British supermodel who does ads for perfume, clothing, and jewelry. She has been the subject of some controversy in the past few months, having been protested by PETA for wearing fur on the cover of some magazines.
Oh, if PETA's protesting her, it's probably fine.
It's fine, whatever.
Whatever she's doing is fine.
Okay.
Now, didn't the previous article say she was American, or am I just absolutely nuts?
Nope.
Oh, it didn't say her. Okay. Flavio.
Jesus Christ. To Natasha. Kisses from Brazil. Flavio.
Yeah, if PETA protests, you're the good guy.
Alright. Well, I think it's fair to assume that Flavio is a one of the infidelities.
An infidelity baby.
I'm willing to bet. I wonder if this is it here.
No, because I think we're pretty solid on that because Tom is definitely divorced his wife.
But this it could also be this one.
It could be that one.
Because this one has a picture.
Right.
And we have this dude.
I'm pretty sure that's the mayor, the Brazilian mayor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the Hughes, well, they said that they had one child, but maybe they had another. Oh, Guy, your dick is an ever-present source of trouble.
Yeah.
Guy, I hate your dick. All right, I have an idea.
Okay.
I think I know. I think this is her.
Okay, yeah, it would make sense because she traveled with him.
Uh-huh. We need her maiden name.
Yeah.
Because that was her as the interpreter, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But we need her maiden name. Okay. Let's go back to this, because we're getting some good stuff from this now. Guy was always hopping around the world trying to recreate that success.
Oh, he was at the Christmas party in 1979, and Flavio was 18.
Yeah.
A couple years off. It's 1999 now, and if he's 18 in 1999. I mean, there's no reason he couldn't have gone back and diddled her later, but...
Well, okay, if it's 1999 and he's 18 years old, that puts him at 88?
Yeah. No.
87 or 88, because, 9 months and then...
Hang on, I'm getting my calculator.
1979, he went to Brazil to open the Roottrees.
So he would have been born in 1981. So
that,
or I guess in late 1980.
So it is this one. Well, because if this is 1975 to 1982, that's
right.
This one. It's definitely this one.
Okay, but do we have any confirmation that Sonia and Eduardo, or whatever his name was, split up?
It said that he ran after he left a...
Yeah, but it doesn't say what happened to her. Did she go with him? Like...
Probably not if her son is on Brazilian TV.
I mean, she could have.
But she's working at... Where is it?
Oh, she had a different name.
Right. Telerede.
No, that was her television station.
No, it wasn't her. He put her in
She was in charge
there.
of it. Yeah. Discreetly put in charge of it.
Yeah. He remained in office until 1998 when he was defeated. Does not know where he has gone, but the dissertation even speculates he likely fled to stay alive.
But what happened to Sonia is left ambiguous. We don't know if she went with him or if he left her behind.
I'm pretty sure he would have left her behind. That just seems likely considering everything about the man.
Sure.
Let's try this. Because we need to. So I'm gonna say that that's her. This is what was his first name? Something Sodes. Edson.
Yeah, Edson.
Um, this guy.
That guy.
What was her name? Sonia something.
Sonia.
We don't know what her last name is though yet.
Yeah, we don't know her maiden name.
All right. Well, she was
She's in television.
Yeah, but what was she doing in television? Was she a news anchor?
No. Producer, maybe? She was discreetly in charge of the company.
Oh yeah, let's. So I started discreetly put in charge of a television station. So that would make her media mogul.
Maybe. If nothing else fits.
I think that might be it.
Yeah, there wasn't much on Sonia Soros, unfortunately.
Yeah. But let's do. So it's this guy, Flavio. And he is an anchor person, news anchor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's. I feel like this is right, and this is right. We need some maiden goddamn names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look up Flavio's current show.
Maybe, yeah.
It doesn't say.
How do we get to him before? Oh, we looked up Sonia before and that.
Yeah. I think all it gave us really was about him.
Right, but.
Yeah, that's how we found him.
Let's look up some periodicals.
Oh, let's look at his photo again. I think there was something. He had like a neon sign or something in the background. The pink one. Yeah. Flavio. Kisses from Brazil.
Yeah.
Just for fun, let's look up the phrase kisses from Brazil. Brazil.
Sure. Maybe it was
Damn.
SIL. No.
Signed photo of him sent to a fan.
Okay, hold on. Is he in Teen Blast? Oh my god, it is! Ashley York, a British model, appeared on the cover of Teen Blast wearing a full fur shawl 3 months ago. This appearance doesn't lead to any useful information, but another more recent appearance in text only mentions she's dating Flavio Sodes. In it, a Teen Blast reporter asks how they met. I was in Rio for Carnival, and he was on one of the parade floats. I had no idea who he was, but I liked what I saw and told my people to invite him to the party I was going to. I felt pretty stupid once I realized that we were going to his party. Well, his mother's party. She runs a media empire down there called
Damn.
Transmi Sao Paulo. Okay. Alves. Transmi Sao Paulo is a massive media group owned and run by a mysterious woman named Sonia Alves. It seems Sonia Alves is a common name in Brazil, so she has shortened her name to Nia to stand out in the public's eye. According to a history page that's focused on her company and vague, unsearchable details, Nia received a significant inheritance in 1980 and invested it in many different manufacturing businesses in her hometown in Brazil. At the same time, she had just begun to learn the ins and outs of running a television network. She continued to work in television until 1988 when Brazil began its period of reform. She felt this was the perfect opportunity to launch her own media company using her investment and connections. Now her company owns television networks, magazines, newspapers, and advertising firms. After doing some translating, the page about Nia lists her as unmarried. Aha! It does not go into any other relationship history. Searching for Nia online, you learn that she stays out of the spotlight. She doesn't even appear at shareholder meetings. She sends a proxy. Perfect. It's Alves.
Yeah, she received a large sum of money in 1980, which sounds like baby money from Filthy Baby Daddy.
Media mogul.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this is right.
Maybe we need to change it to Nia?
Maybe.
No, there it is.
But that's not it.
No.
And it always goes by her birth name, so... Is that maybe not her? Is maybe this her? No. It's gotta be that.
It's gotta be her, because she's standing next to that guy.
Yeah. Okay. I think these are right, which means that maybe these are wrong. These might be old photos. We should probably find out what they're doing, because if he's news anchor now and they're older.
He's an 18-year-old news anchor because his mommy's got money and influence.
All right, fair.
I mean, they could be in college. You want to try switching them to college?
Yeah. Nah.
No.
Okay. I'm relatively certain that this is right. Because then if this was like 1980s, this would be the last one, 82. Like this, to me, timeline wise, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is with the other two. Maybe it is this one. Maybe this. When did she leave?
Fairly early on, I thought.
Let me go back, because I remember seeing something that they mentioned Susie. Not in this one. It was in Caroline's book, I think. Or was it here? So Christmas 1979. Let me just, for argument's sake. Christmas tree bash, New Year's Eve, travel expenses, Australia, China, France, and Brazil. I don't see it. Okay. I just thought of something. There was something else that came up when we were looking up Roottrees Brazil. That I wanted to look up. This week, Roottrees Everywhere. Roottrees Everywhere was an expansion in the late 1970s. It coincided with some other large changes at the company and had mixed success. As far as you can tell, the different companies excuse me, related to it were all formed in very different and sometimes haphazard ways. There's minimal organized information about the history of the expansion itself online, but you can glean the following. Roottrees candy had been distributed globally to certain markets approved by Elias as early as the 1940s. This included places like Canada, Mexico, and select countries in Europe, mostly the UK. Roottrees Everywhere involved Roottrees' expansion to other major markets that were assessed to be ready for Roottree. This started with 4 that I had no share in: Australia, Brazil, China, and France. Each of the countries had an entirely new company formed, mostly by making deals with local distributors and manufacturers. Here we go. Roottrees is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Roottrees candy. It was developed as part of the Roottrees Everywhere initiative in summer 1979. According to a history website for Roottrees, Charles Martin, who owned a company that manufactured licorice in Australia, was tapped to run the Roottrees factory after he impressed the American leadership of the Roottrees Candy Company at the time. Roottrees did have some success, but only in certain regions. The manufacturing leg of the company shuttered in 1992. After the death of Martin, Roottrees now serves as an importer and distributor.
Okay, I think didn't was it Caroline or the other one? Somebody said that Guy canoodled the daughter of his Australian business partner.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is probably this guy.
Yeah.
Probably. Let's definitely spider search him.
Charles Martin was a candy manufacturer in Australia, born in 1923. He had a popular brand of licorice called Martin's Licorice Bullets. That sounds terrible. Most of his history is unrelated to the Roottrees. However, in 1979, he helped develop Roottrees. He used his own wealth to build a new factory, and they distributed the maple treats through the same methods he had already been using for his previous candy venture. A website about Australian commerce mentions that he had a very unusual business agreement with the main Roottrees company in the U.S. Much like how the Clansett Trust distributed the profits from the Roottrees company evenly to the Roottrees family, the profits of the Roottrees would be split 50-50 between the American Roottrees company and Martin himself for him to do with what he wishes. This made Martin very, very wealthy, but also led to many cost-cutting measures meant to increase profits as much as possible, especially towards the end of Martin's life in the early 1990s. Roottrees candy gained a poor reputation in Australia, and sales suffered immensely. Charles' vast fortune was passed along to his daughter, Robin Martin, who sold both businesses at first opportunity.
Smart lady.
Robin Martin is featured in many of the top 100 wealthiest women in the world lists. She owns a private island off the coast of Australia where she reportedly has her own exclusive retreat. She has no husband, and there was a widely circulated rumor somewhere in the mid-70s that she had a medical procedure to ensure she would never have children. You find a joke on a site called Edgy Jokes that implies she's quite promiscuous and has a punchline involving robin's eggs. That's awful.
That's gross.
I hate that. It's 1999. Still not great.
Mm-hmm.
For what it's worth, Martin seemed to lean into the rumors. In the 80s, she once showed up at a charity function with 3 very attractive men, each wearing a shirt that said simply "Satisfied Partner" on it.
You know what? For all this that we're shitting on Guy, good for her. The thing is, promiscuous women don't leave a trail of motherless babies in their wake. They can't.
Yeah.
It is literally impossible.
Apparently, Robin Martin sold off her father's assets in 1992, the year after he died, which combined with her inheritance immediately catapulted her to an almost unimaginable level of wealth. The writer of Business Watch, who was assigned to report on this news, seems to disapprove of this move immensely. While the article does touch on the announcement of who took over the licorice division as well as what was to become of the maple candy factory, the entire text seems to be dripping with contempt that someone would be willing to dismantle and gut such a successful company to earn a quick buck. The article ends with a dig at Robin's personal life and lack of traditional values. But who am I to judge? Maybe she sold it to ensure a better future for her own children. Oh, wait.
Gross. Yeah, I don't think it was successful towards the end. At least that's what I remember.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Alright, because let's not forget, some of these might be red herrings, and if she might not be capable of bearing children.
It's pretty clear that she doesn't have any kids.
Yeah. It's not like some of the other ones with Miracle, where it's like, oh, you suddenly adopted kids. Like, no, she's totally fine with just not having kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A woman after my own heart.
Okay. China Roottrees.
China Roottrees. Let's go.
China Rootree is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Rootree candy. It was developed as part of the Rootree Everywhere initiative in the summer of 1979. During the late 70s, China began to go through a period of economic reform. This led to new opportunities for American companies, and the Rootree Candy Company decided to pounce. I feel like this is a running thing in the 70s where, like, any country that was going through economic reform, a bunch of American businessmen were like, hey, untapped market, free money, and now, and then we have late stage capitalism.
Yep, now we have late stage capitalism.
Lang Hongbo, who was said to personally win over the Rootree family and was the owner of multiple textile factories, did not wish to import the ingredients and build a special factory to manufacture the candy in China. So instead, they made a deal to import bulk, unpackaged Rootree candy and label it for not only China, but additional markets. Hongbo was already in his mid-50s when the deal happened, only had daughters, and his brother Lang Hongyu took control upon his death in 1986. After Hongyu died in 1992, it passed to the oldest child for the next generation, Lang Xinyu. That's, isn't that one of the, like, flavors?
Yeah, the Chinese watermelon flavor.
Alright, let's start digging into these. You come across a website for the Langtai Textile Corporation, which is a company that has helped expand Roottree's products to China since the late 1970s. The company seems very accomplished. Their site has quotes from many different reporters and news articles listed on it, in nearly every language. It's also mentioned quite often on websites about Chinese businesses, but those mentions are company focused and not people focused and don't offer any information useful to your investigation. Their page contains a very rudimentary leadership timeline with names that prove that the company has been in the Lang family for a long time. It kind of looks like a family tree. It goes back at least 250 years in some form or another. During the period where they began the Rootree deal, Lang Hongbo in China, the family name comes first, so Lang is his last name, was the CEO. He died before the internet was widespread, so there's not much out there other than his name on this website. His younger brother, Lang Hongyu, is featured on the history section directly following him. This also seems to be the only mention of the man. The current CEO is a woman listed simply as Xinyu. The site doesn't list her last name, though she does appear in the family tree below Hongbo. Lang Tai has a few American logos on its page. One is the Rootree logo, another is Tranquils, and the third is Piece of Asia. I want to go back real quick and look. Aha! Lang Xinyu in China, the family names come from, blah, 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 yeah, is a businesswoman currently running the Lang Tai Textile Company. She was recently listed in an article on a website written by and for women. The article, entitled Empowered, is about the recent rise of women entrepreneurs in China. The article states that due to her lack of brothers, she has a younger sister, Lang Xinyu took over as CEO of her family's company in 1992 after her elderly uncle was deemed unfit to run the company due to mental deterioration. This was apparently an extremely controversial move amongst the company's employers, and some of them, the article does not state how many, quit and wrote a letter stating that she must have coerced him in his vulnerable state, because, you know, women.
Yeah, because women.
Since then, the company has been performing well. Her nephew, who is currently her second in command, is expected to take over when she retires. In the meantime, the board's stance has been a twist on a popular proverb. The article roughly translates it as, someone that has proven they can do something well can do it 100 times well. An unproven leader could doom us all. Neat. The article also offhandedly mentions that Xinyu was an early adopter of IVF and helped her sister have a child. There is an unsourced picture of Xinyu in the article. It says that it's from 1992 when she took over. She was 45 at the time. It has been added to your evidence. Interesting. Huh. Okay. So, what are we thinking here? Are we thinking that maybe